gives a lot of details that I'm not giving here, because the goal here is just to kind of give you an overview of why this is not necessarily a good company, and as far as wanting to invest. So I reached out about Ready, Set, Cam to a friend of the podcast and a real OnlyFans creator named Whatever Amy. And she is very popular on Twitter and on OnlyFans, as I mentioned, with 100,000 plus followers, 100,000 plus likes on OnlyFans. So this is a person who has been doing OnlyFans for quite a while, and I saw her on the page when I went on looking at investigating Ready Set Cam OnlyFans page. And so I reached out to her, and she said that she had asked for a refund. She saw no movement on the expensive package that she had purchased. Now, I know from talking to Amy that she's a pretty savvy marketer, but there are very limited amount of ways to grow. So what ends up happening is people say, okay, well, I've hit a wall. Let me go ahead and invest in this, and this could maybe, get me past that wall. So regardless of whether or not someone's, a new creator or more established, they're always looking for ways to grow, and I admire that. I respect that. As I've talked about in the podcast over and over, you should always be looking for new avenues. So this particular company seems to be targeting more of the middle end, high end OnlyFans creator. And what they're stating seems, rather, legitimate. If you really could produce 20,000, I don't know if that's worth $6,000. I don't think so. No, I'm going to go with no. But it is possible. So if you took something like what I mentioned with r/OnlyFans 101's OnlyFans page, they have hundreds of thousands of people. But what happens is that that's just not how, to me, OnlyFans marketing works. So, the philosophy that they're selling, even if what they were selling was legitimate and that the reviews weren't what I consider to be fake, and the person had really, I don't believe this, helped dozens of people to get 5,000 to 10,000 to 50, whatever he's saying. Even if that was true, the philosophy doesn't equal, the two things don't come together, in my opinion. Now, OnlyFans marketing to me is about branding and interaction. It is not about taking one aspect or one market of OnlyFans creators, cam girls, and saying, okay, well, I'm going to take, we're going to get this person in, because honestly, people interact for different reasons with different things. So if someone is interested and into cams, they might not necessarily be interested in OnlyFans. They might just be like, okay, what I enjoy, the way that I like to take in my entertainment is this live cam show. And another person is going to enjoy an OnlyFans page where they can take in the content based on what they like, or they can buy pay-per-view content. It's not the same thing. So working on one thing, and you could say, and I would honestly say, and I've said in several episodes, look at different things, the way that you are able to market and maximize that. So, if that is an area you're doing really well in, then that's for you. But that isn't for every single person who's doing OnlyFans. And every person who's doing OnlyFans isn't going to be great at being a cam person. So to say, okay, well, the way to succeed is to convert people from cam, again, it just doesn't add up. And it's not the way that I believe OnlyFans marketing works. And, this sort of person, this person named Max Anderson, and I really did believe when I first saw the Quora that this was a made-up person. I thought that maybe his identity had been stolen, and they were using this because it was hard for me to believe that someone who worked as a director in a NASDAQ company that's, would be doing, selling this kind of thing dishonestly, in my opinion, based off of my analysis of the reviews on what they're actually selling. It just didn't make sense. But, this person likes to leap from, as I mentioned about the cannabis education, I'm pretty sure that when he's done with this, he's going to jump over to Bitcoin and to crypto, maybe sell some NFTs, whatever the latest thing is. But for me, I'd like to move him along quicker, if possible. I don't want him to be taking thousands of dollars from OnlyFans creators. Now, some people are going to be whatever, Amy, and ask for their money back. And other people are just going to assume, as I went over before in one of my first episodes about Instagram and buying Instagram promotion, people will blame themselves. They'll say, oh, the system was right. It was just me. And that's why it didn't work. And certainly when you spend a lot of money, and I've talked about this as well in the episode about why you should be charging more for your OnlyFans. When you buy something that's thousands of dollars, you have the expectation that there's something right about it. So when someone puts up and says, okay, well, I'm not the person who's going to sell you the $20 promotion. I'm the one who's going to sell you the $2,000 promotion. It actually gains legitimacy in someone's mind. So they're even more likely to blame themselves for the outcome of it not working. But from what I can tell, and again, I would love to hear from Max Anderson if he's really honestly providing legitimate service. From looking at Ready, Set, Gam, I could not distinguish what exactly was being sold other than what's being stated. And when I click on certain aspects and it says, okay, well, this is where we're going to promote you. And then it takes me to a page, like I said, with one creator and some other creators look like they paid to be on that page. Where are these 20,000 visits coming from? Especially for $6,000, you need to really answer that question. That's quite a lot of money. And, the fact that these views would somehow equate to purchases. Anyone who has a free OnlyFans page knows that not every person who pops onto their page is looking to open their wallet. So just because you get 20,000 people to a page doesn't mean that they are qualified or actually interested in buying anything. All right, so you can definitely read more about this, as I mentioned in the blog article on SEObounty.com/blog. So I would love for you to read that particular blog that I wrote this week on it, because it goes in a lot more into detail about ReadySetCam.com. All right, so next I'm going to go over the quick and easy Reddit scam concept. So this is the newest thing, and I'm going to particularly talk about one company, although there are a lot of companies popping up right now to do this kind of auto Reddit posting concept. Again, I don't believe in it. I think that it could possibly do more harm than good, but I'm going to go over it with you and let you guys make your mind up on this. So I reached out specifically to a company called fancharm.com after a listener of this podcast recommended that I check them out because I'm always looking for synergy, partnership, things that can benefit OnlyFans creators. And certainly if I could bring it into what I'm doing with my marketing, that would be great. So I reached out to them, and I had a little conversation with one of the owners, and I kept checking back in, but I never, was able to get back a hold of him. And I really dug a little bit deeper into the website, and I got a little suspicious of the site when it equated you giving access to them of your Reddit with the same as sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook. And that it's just very different. So when you sign in, and it's kind of technical, but what happens is that you have something called OAuth and protocol. So what happens is that you are limited to giving access to your identity to sign in. So for a lot of different sites, you just click sign in with Google and you go in there. And basically all that's being sent over to them is just the information that you have a Google account and that you're a person and that Google has verified you. So therefore you can log in through that. That is very different than giving a site like FanCharm all access to your Reddit besides the admin and passwords. So this would be like if every time you signed in with Facebook or Google, that company that you signed in with could then post for you on Facebook, could answer your messages on Facebook, could IM inside Facebook. Again, that's not the same. That's very, very far from the same. So, I mean, I understand trying to make things a little easier to understand, for people coming onto the website. But when it immediately kind of states out something that I'm suspicious of to kind of gloss over instead of just saying, we're going to need access to your Reddit account. That doesn't mean we can change your password username, but, we can, it's just too much. You have to be honest with people and say, yes, we are going to take basic control of your Reddit account, but we won't be able to lock you out. Basically, we won't be able to change your password. So what this site and many sites like this say that they do is they auto message users who comment on your posts. They auto reply to DMs. They schedule posts on subreddits. And they auto follow anyone who interacts with you. Okay, so all of that on the website sounds good. You say, okay, well, I can just get this done. Like, wow, I can. And as I've said before, like it's great if you can, build something up and then move on to your next, social channel because that's going to give you more clout. It's going to give you more exposure. So you just say, oh, okay, well, Reddit's taking care of. I'm going to pay this company $10 a month, and now Reddit's taken care of. So anyone who has used Reddit for more than 5 minutes would see a lot of issues here. They say right on the site that we limit the posts to 1 a minute, so we won't get flagged. And the thing is that that there's limitations because they're stating to you we're not going to hit the limits here. But, no account, and then they state that no account has ever been flagged or banned for using FanCharm. Now, there's just a lot of issues here. The big issue is karma. Reddit throttles your account if you don't have a good amount of karma. As we've gone over before, the podcast about karma. Karma is like these magic numbers that you get for interacting on Reddit and, posting things people like, and your number of karma goes up, and then you basically can do more on the site. But when you don't have this high amount of karma, it will throttle your actions. You'll limit the number of people you can message. It does a whole bunch of different things. And what's interesting is it rarely tells you that it's doing it. So like you'll send out DMs and what you'll notice is, and for a bit, I hit this when I was invited too many people one time or followed too many people. And I was sending out invitations and people weren't following the subreddit anymore. I was like, well, that's interesting. But the invitations were still going out. It was because Reddit basically had just throttled those messages. It stated that they went out, but they didn't actually go to anybody. So that's a bit of a problem because you're not going to really know what actually really went out or what didn't go out. And here's the thing, subreddits ban you. Reddit rarely bans anyone. You'd have to, as I've mentioned before, you'd have to be out there, doing really bad things to get knocked off of Reddit. Hate speech, terrible things. And they will basically just throttle the account. And if you have